The Crazy Life of Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor grew up in a brothel. He set himself on fire. He was violated by a priest. Pryor was a violent drug addict. He was one of the first celebrities to share his homosexual experience. Pryor's grandmother owned 3 massage parlors in Illinois. One of them was his home for many years. Pryor's mother was employed there. He rarely saw her. One day she left and never came back. Pryor was raised primarily by his grandmother. His father was cold and uncaring. His grandmother often hit him with branches as punishment. Once he found a deceased baby in a shoebox in his home. Pryor was expelled from Catholic school when he was 9. In another school, he hit his science teacher in the face. He was expelled again at the age of 15. He was forced to take low-paying jobs in factories or drive trucks. Occasionally, Pryor even resorted to thievery. He was abused by a teenage neighbor and later by a priest. While in the army, Pryor stabbed a white officer. He was accused of assaulting a clerk at a hotel. He used a fork to stab a landlord. He became abusing drugs. Pryor was spending upwards of $100 per day on crack. He found himself in court for attacking his house guests. Pryor had asked them to leave. He followed them and rammed their car with his Mercedes. Then he riddled their vehicle with bullets after they fled. Once Pryor doused himself in rum and lit himself on fire. He attempted to end his life. He jumped out of the window and ran down the street. He refused help until policemen got him into an ambulance. Pryor bathed in antiseptics several times a day. He spent hours in a hyperbaric chamber to speed up healing. Pryor shared drugs with inmates during a film shoot. During filming the 1980s Stir Crazy, Pryor's drug use was out of control. He was often late to the set. On occasion, Pryor wouldn't show up at all. A local motorcycle gang supplied him with his illicit substances. He shared them with the inmates of the prison where they were filming. Pryor was married 7 times to 5 different women. He remarried 2 of them. He had several children from both wives and girlfriends. Pryor stopped halfway through a performance at the Aladdin in the 1960s. He hated his act. He dropped his microphone mid-show and walked off stage. Some accounts claimed he urinated in front of the crowd. In other stories, he asked the audience,
"What the f am I doing here?"
and left. Pryor was well known for his colorful language. NBC refused to allow him to guest host Saturday Night Live because of that. A trip to Africa changed Pryor's ideas about using the N-word. He said,
"I saw people, African people. I saw people from other countries too, and they were all kinds of colors."
Pryor survived several heart attacks. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1986. He was unable to stand on stage. He enlisted the help of an easy chair to get through his performance. Eventually, he used a wheelchair to aid his mobility. Pryor died in 2005 from one final heart attack. Do you think pain can create and fuel comedy?